Okay, morning folks, Monday morning motivation coming up. It's a nice damp Monday morning in December for you all to get you fired up and cheered up for the day, I am very sure. So let me just put my phone on silent because that will beep while I'm doing this. So yeah, Monday morning motivation today, guys. I'm going to talk very quickly about easy versus worth it. So what tends to happen is that we think that things are worth it when they're easy rather than the other way around. So there was a classic quote which I heard once, which was make rest a necessity, not an objective. So most people, through the way we've been conditioned, it's not necessarily their fault, have been taught that you do this and then you relax after you've done this, even if you haven't really done that much, to be honest. You haven't worked that hard. So what I'm going to talk about this morning really is to get yourself fired up, is to look at when you're going through things that seem quite difficult, and this can be anything, it doesn't necessarily have to just be health and fitness. Sometimes you've got to accept that to do things, they're worth it. There's a great book called The Road Less Travelled, and they talk about what's called instant gratification versus delayed gratification. Now, if you go into the shop and buy a lottery ticket, just pay £1 over the counter, that's instant gratification. You're looking for a very minimal effort, which is your £1, for potentially quite a big return. What delayed gratification is putting some work in and not necessarily getting out of it what you want straight away. For example, weight loss is a classic example. The diet industry tells us that yes, you can constantly lose weight week in, week out. Well, some weeks you're not going to. Some weeks there's going to be challenging, some weeks there's going to be adversity, some weeks there's going to be these problems that present themselves. So what we're trying to talk about today, to get you fired up, is basically sometimes when things are painful, or that's both physically and mentally, potentially that means you're moving forward and going to a better place. Now, it's not saying that life's supposed to be tough and it's supposed to be really hard. It's not. But sometimes to do things, you've got to go through a bit of work. You've got to go through a bit of effort. It's like the classic: you can lose X amount of weight in this many days following this whatever plan, which is fine. And if that works, it's okay. But again, look at the work you've got to put in and say, well, actually, is this worth it? Because it's actually quite easy. So when you do things that seem quite easy, the question to ask yourself, is it worth it? So is this worth it? And on the flip side, if you are going through a bit of a challenge, you are going through a bit of pain, a bit of suffering, sometimes that means that you're making progress. When I go running, I don't like running, I'm training for the marathon, it hurts a little bit, but guess what, I'm making progress. When you, like for example, when I went into business, it hurt a little bit. There was a lot of questions, a lot of beliefs I had to challenge about myself, and it was quite painful, but guess what, it allowed me to make significant progress in my life and my goals. So the key question to ask yourself today, easy versus worth it. So if something's easy, lottery ticket, gambling, whatever, is that instant gratification. There's no work that goes into that. So if you're working hard and things don't seem that easy, the key point is stay the course and don't give up, because I'll tell you something now, most things that are quite difficult are worth it, and that's how things have really been set up, to be honest. It's not personally, it's just that sometimes things are set up to be difficult, to prove or to challenge you to see whether or not that you really want it or not. So yeah, so remember that. So don't get too disheartened. Just remember that sometimes it's going to hurt a little bit, but that's the point. Nature's set up that way, so sometimes things take a bit of effort and they are worth it. So yeah, stay the course. Monday motivation. We're on the 16th of December now. There are still roughly around 13 days of December, except Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day, to make a difference, to make a change this week. Yeah, you've got 7 days, particularly at least 5 days, Monday to Friday. I've heard a lot of people talking about, oh, broke up from work now. Again, you want to be a champion, do what the champions do, keep working, keep grinding, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.